When I first saw the announcement for Carrion, I was really excited because it looked super interesting. I love the idea of playing as the monster and just wreaking havoc. But for some reason, when it came out, I just didn't get it right away. I mean, granted, I had a lot of other stuff I could have played at the time, so I was just kind of like, I'm cool with waiting on it. Maybe I'll just get it when it goes on sale. And then it was on sale, and I was kind of running out of things to play, so I decided, let's do it. As its premise implies, it's very much like a reverse horror game. You're playing as this monster, you're going through this lab and trying to basically eat people and gain upgrades and make yourself a bigger, scarier monster. You basically start off as this like smaller creature, and as you find upgrades in these like pods, kind of that are they're like these like test containers or something, and you basically have to break them open, and then you go inside of them, and then you get whatever upgrade. And for some of them, it gives you different power-ups, and then others give you growth. So like every few power-ups you grow a little bit. And weirdly enough, what I wasn't expecting was in order to use certain powers, you have to be a certain size. And you can at later points kind of shed a piece of you to go to a smaller size, or eat people or whatever to grow bigger. But I wasn't expecting to have to go back and forth to solve some of the puzzles. I mean, there are segments where you're literally going to have to go back and forth between being huge and small just to figure out how to get out of an area. And for the most part, they're not that difficult, but there were a couple semi-challenging ones where I got stuck for a few minutes. And while at several points I did feel like a cool, big, nasty monster that just goes around breaking everything, which was really fun, I also felt like there were some enemy types that are just like, oh my goodness, oh no. One of the more common annoying enemy types to deal with is the soldier that you can't eat them because they have, I guess, protective armor on or something. But they also have like a shield of some kind that if you touch it, it damages you. So not only are they tougher to deal with, but then they have the added benefit to themselves and detriment to you of, oh, I turned around to face you. Well, now you're damaged, and maybe I have a flamethrower, and now you're on fire, and you have to find water or you're going to die. So aside from a couple minor annoyances like that, or getting overwhelmed by like drones or something, for the most part, it's pretty fun. It's you are still very powerful, even if there are some enemies that can hurt you. Throughout the game, there's these, I don't know what to call them. They're like memory segments or something. They're weird. They're very, very odd. But you basically go in this thing, and you become a human. Like it basically like transports you back in time or something, and you become a human, and then you're just walking around the facility and having to solve puzzles in a different way because you're not the big monster. And I feel like later in the game, there just wasn't one of those, unless it was like, it was a big area, so maybe it just seemed like there wasn't one and there actually was. Because each area you go through gets progressively bigger. They start off pretty small, and then when you get to the last, so how it works is you have like an exit door, and to start off with, there's like 3 things you have to activate in order to escape, and then the last one is like 6. And it's like, oh, that's a lot to get through. So maybe I just forgot about that segment for that one. The human segments are not as fun because you're not the monster, and that's the whole premise of the game. But they're fine, I guess, as a puzzle segment. They just weren't quite as exciting. Yeah, I would say the main portion of the game where you're the monster running around, breaking stuff, eating people, that was quite fun. There's portions where you're just wreaking havoc, and there's others where, maybe you can sneak around and do something a different way. And that's pretty cool. There's just a power-up you can get where you take over the enemies, where you take over like a human body, and you can take over the guys that have that shield that are really annoying, and you can just like, start shooting everyone. So that's pretty cool. There are a couple power-ups that really have very specific uses that are kind of not as exciting as I would have expected. And the game ended up overall being pretty short as far as I could tell. But for what it is, it's pretty fun. There is kind of like a completionist aspect to this where you can complete an area to a certain percentage, and there's the thing you have to do to progress, but then there's, I don't know, other stuff like you have to go to every room and kill every human or something. I didn't 100% it. I think 100% the last area, oddly enough, but not much of anything else. Without even trying, I guess. But yeah, it was a fun game. I don't know if yeah, it was a fun game. It seemed kind of more like a one and done experience. Probably not something I'd go back to. There's not really much replayability as far as I can tell. I did notice there's like some Christmas DLC or something. I don't know what that is. but I'm not really going to bother because whatever. I feel like I got about what I've expected out of it and not much more, but not much less either. Man, this is like the shortest video I've done in a long time, but anyway, thank you for listening and I hope you have a great day.